Hey everybody, it is Kneecap here, and in this video I'm going to be previewing one of the new sub-races coming out in the expansion, the Dark Iron Dwarves. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of information about Dark Iron Dwarves, how they've served in the game so far, and then kind of go into the speculation of where I think they'll be going in this new expansion. So, Dark Irons, like other dwarves, they sprung from the Earthen. Dark Irons started in the deepest crevices of Ironforge. That's where they originated, as far as like where their home was. They tried to throw Ironforge. They failed and retreated to the Red Ridge Mountains, or the Mountains of Red Ridge, not necessarily Red Ridge Mountains, the zone. They did try again to take over Ironforge. Theresen failed. His wife attacked Grim Batol. The Wildhammer dwarves were there at the time, and she actually perished in that attack. They retreated back to the Red Ridge Mountains, where they summoned Ragnaros, thus creating the Blackrock Mountain, and scarring the lands now known as the Searing Gorge and the Burning Steppes. After that moment, the Dark Irons basically served Ragnaros. After the Great Cataclysm, so Cataclysm expansion, Magni was turned into Diamond. Obviously, we've seen him return now, but not as himself or as the king. His daughter Moira, who had married into the Dark Iron royal family, claimed the throne of Ironforge for herself and the Dark Irons. However, this was not going to go over very well because now Mirrodin has been back since ICC, or from Wrath of the Lich King expansion, and we also have the Wildhammer dwarves in the game as well. To stop civil war between the dwarves, another battle of the three hammers, perhaps, King Varian divided power evenly to Mirrodin of Ironforge, Falstad of the Wildhammers, Moira of the Dark Irons. Moira also has a son who is the next heir to both the Dark Irons and of Ironforge. Some Dark Irons followed Moira. It appears the ones of Blackrock Depths and Shadowforge City still follow her, and thus the Alliance, while some continue to follow Ragnaros and have since joined like the Twilight's Hammer or remain kind of like their own rogue little factions. The Dark Irons have fought to help the Alliance already, although never formally being introduced as an allied race. They helped propel the Legion forces, for example, with Moira leading them. So that's just a little bit of history of the Dark Iron Dwarves. We obviously see them in multiple zones, especially in Cosmodon. And so what's going to happen with these Dark Irons now that they're going to be on our side? I did, of course, mention there are still Dark Irons that aren't on our side, just as there's evil of almost every race. There's Syndicate, humans. That's the first one that pops in my head. But, so not every person's on your side, but we will have some on our side. So what's going to change? What's going to change in the game? In my opinion, this is all opinion and conjecture, mind you. Many, if not all, the questing areas with Dark Iron Dwarves will be changed slightly to account for them being partners with the Alliance now, and they'll be changed to be, they will be changed to be Twilight's Hammer Dark Iron Dwarves. So basically, if there's just a regular Dark Iron Dwarf and you have to kill it for a quest, either they're going to have to curb that and make that into maybe like a Twilight's Hammer kind of little cult thing, which would make sense with everyone talking about the old gods perhaps coming back. They'll either do the Twilight's Hammer, or they will just have to change the questing area slightly to maybe you're talking to a Dark Iron Dwarf and helping them kill something else. Here's a big one. Blackrock Depths will either be removed, like some instances have been in the past, modified in a way to reflect them now as part of the Alliance, or perhaps an entrance to the old instance and an entrance to a new instance or zone where they're allied to you, if they want to keep the old instance intact. My thinking on that was like how they did with Kara. So you still can go to the old Kara raid. There's a new instance of the Kara dungeon. If there's any item that drops in BRD, I would try to farm it pre-X-Pack in case of the removal of BRD. This is definitely something that is possible. I'm not saying it's probable even. I think there was some backlash with some removals of the old instances or the complete overhaul of them. For example, one that kind of ticked me off was Shadowfang Keep, just the changing of it, and now you can't really get the Shadowfang blade anymore, barring extreme luck off the last boss, I believe. Some other things, we'll likely see more Dark Iron Dwarves walking around Ironforge, and probably other places as well, maybe like the Dwarven District in Stormwind, for example. You're more than likely going to see some Dark Iron Dwarves in places where you might normally just see regular Ironforge Dwarves. I'm also hoping, just as a complete little sidebar here, that they also maybe incorporate a little bit more of the Wildhammer dwarves, since they're coming back and revisiting the Dwarven Kingdom anyways. Let's have a few Wildhammer dwarves mingling around as well. I believe Moira's son may have aged a little bit and now be a young boy. I'm kind of comparing and thinking of how Anduin was a young boy, you know, being looked after in Stormwind when the game started. We should see some Dark Iron Dwarfs sprinkled in questing areas, giving quests to Alliance players, at the very least, or at the very least, the Dwarves. So maybe Dark Iron Dwarves will only be giving quests to Dwarves in like the first few starting areas, or maybe we'll see them scattered around everywhere, purposely mingled in just to kind of get that new subrace, you know, their due. Will they have their own racial or just stone form? They could have some blacksmithing bonus, perhaps fire resistance, or even affinity to darker magics. Maybe like a warlock would be a good Dark Iron Dwarf, for example. Of course, maybe just a warrior, a plate wearer for the for the blacksmithing trait, if that's something that happens at all. That's about all I came up with for now for this. I might even revisit these later. I'm planning on doing a video for every single one of the new races. Leave your thoughts below. What would you like to see out of the Dark Iron Dwarves? What would you want their racial to be? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? All those kinds of things interest me when it's something like this that is just very interesting to me. So as always, everyone have a good one.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Thumbs up and sub as always. Also comment below, share the videos. Appreciate it so much. You can also check me out at Twitter at WoW Gaming Inc. and at Twitch with the tag name Kneecap Killer. So everyone have a good one and see you again soon.